Good evening, everybody, from Hal Cap Field, along with Rashawn Haylock and Rufus Washington and the terrific Channel 22 sports crew. I'm Lou Stowers, and Rufus Washington. The Mayor's Cup is always fun here, no matter if it's here at Hawthorne or across town at Leuzinger.
Always is, and of course, a couple of familiar names back, Ron Jenkins over at Leuzinger, and of course, Coach Swain, the inimitable Coach Swain back here at Hawthorne. He's got a win under his belt.
And let's go down to Rashawn Haylock. He has a pregame report.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Obviously, here on this Hawthorne sideline is Coach James Swain in his fourth tour of duty as head coach of these Hawthorne Cougars. And he won a game earlier this season a couple weeks ago against Animo. That was his first win since 2001, guys. Remember that 45-game losing streak that this Hawthorne Cougar program endured, where 40 of those losses were to Coach Swain. But that last win that he had, guys, just so happens it was in this very game, the Mayor's Cup 2001. Lou, Rufus.
All right, thank you very much, Rashawn Haylock. And talking to Coach Swain, and he said the interview process was a little bit weird, as he explained it, because he was interviewing for Lawndale, Leuzinger, and Hawthorne's position. And we're happy to see Coach Swain back here in scarlet and gold.
Happy to see him back, and as Rashawn mentioned, I'm sure he's happy that he's got a win under his belt. And I talked to Coach Swain a little bit before the game. Lou, he feels real good about tonight's contest. As I say, they're on a one-game winning streak after having lost 10 in a row here in the Mayor's Cup. They won last year at 19-9. Of course, that was Coach Joe Kanock that led that victory. Again, as Rashawn said, it was 2001 when Coach Swain last led a Hawthorne Cougar victory over these Leuzinger Olympians.
And it appears that Leuzinger will be kicking off to Hawthorne, who will be protecting the goal to our right. And returning the ball will be Xavier Clark to the near side. And over on the far side, it'll be Damari Yearwood. Kicking the ball off for Leuzinger will be Julio Padilla. Ball is kicked off, taken at about the 13-yard line by Yearwood. Yearwood met at about the 26 and drugged down there. So Leuzinger gets some good penetration on the kick return, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars at about their own 27-yard line.
Not bad field position to start the contest for the Cougars, and we'll be interested to see what they come out with. They've diversified themselves. They do run a single back offense, very few passes, but one of the things that I noted in the stats was that when they do throw the ball, they throw it for distance. They're averaging about 25 yards of completion, but let's put that in perspective. They've only thrown the ball 6 times this season.
All right, so it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars, who have 2 wide receivers split out to the right side. And playing at quarterback is Paul Fuller, trying to go around the right side, and it's going to be a 2-yard loss.
Eddie Thomas with the carry doesn't make the line of scrimmage. In fact, as you mentioned, knocked back to the 25-yard line.
So it'll be a loss of 2 on the play. And it looked like he dropped the ball as well. So it'll be 2nd down and 12 from the 25-yard line. Fuller, now he gets some movement on the line.
Looked like big number 58 for the Olympians was the guy who moved, but we'll see. That's Pacetti Tukatau.
Let's see if he was drawn offside. Looks like the Cougars are moving back, Rufus.
Okay, well, then it was procedure.
So that'll go back to the 20-yard line.
So we see. Yeah,
there we go. So there was the right guard that moved, or left guard, excuse me. So coming around the right side now, and for a no gain, is Eddie Thomas again.
So this drive has not started off the way, if you're a Cougar fan, you would have wanted to, Lou. It's been a negative progression, if there's such a thing, for them instead of a positive one. Negative means they're going backwards instead of forwards.
And some good tackling on the play, Rafael Galera, along with Robert Barbie. So it's about 3rd and 19 for the Cougars. Fuller back to pass, being chased down, and Robert Barbie is chasing him down, and Fuller getting some positive yardage. But he's nailed there by Travion Pope, and it'll be 4th down for the Cougars.
4th down. Got back close to the original line of scrimmage, but for a drive that started, and they're going to spot this one at the 25 as well, for a drive to start at their own 27, after that settled down to end up with a -2.
So back in punt formation. Will be Luis Aguirre, and he kicks it to near midfield, and it takes a Cougar bounce.
Nice Cougar bounce.
So Yearwood downs it, and Leuzinger will have their shot at the Mayor's Cup here. Actually, their defense of the Mayor's Cup.
Their defense. It's been a long time since we've been able to use that expression.
That's right.
While we've got a moment, let me tell you who the officiating crew for tonight's contest are, fans. The guy in the white hat, that's the referee, Ty Paul. The umpire is Tom Cintron. Head linesman, Ron White. Back judge is Greg Boger. And the line judge is John Filaktu.
And at quarterback will be Sammy Puloka out of the eye. Handed off right up the middle. No, that was reversed by Travion Pope. We saw him working on that. And Pope gets enough for the 1st down, it looks like, almost to the 50-yard line, to about the 40-yard line, as the line of scrimmage was the 37.
And the side judge comes in with the indication that it's definitely a 1st down. So a good start on their first play from scrimmage for the Leuzinger Olympians as they pick up 12 on the play.
So they're ready to go, but the chain gang still has to move. And they move even before the chain gang is ready. But the ball is handed up right up the middle following the left guard. And I believe that was Rafael Galera on the run. He gets credited for a yard. Should be a 2-yard gain. That's down to about the 49-yard line. So a 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7. Puloka hands it off again to Galera. Galera looked like it might have been close to a face mask, but may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Let's see where they spot it. Just barely back to the line of scrimmage.
And the Hawthorne defense stiffens up a little bit here after giving up the big play on Leuzinger's first play from scrimmage. The going has been a little bit tougher for the Olympians this last couple of downs. So that's a good sign for the Cougar defense.
Well, a big 3rd down play early for the Cougar defense. And Leuzinger better hurry if they didn't take a timeout. They're running out of time on the snap clock. Out of the shotgun on this play. Almost like a wildcat, but Puloka is back to pass and throws it behind his intended receiver at about the 35-yard line, and it'll be 4th down for the Olympians. Dakari Pascal is the intended receiver.
So the defense for Hawthorne that time does its job. Made their fan base, I'm sure, a little bit nervous on that first play when they gave up 12 yards. But guess what? They turn around after giving up 12 yards, only give up 3 on the next 3 downs.
Back to receive the punt, it appears to be Damari Yearwood.
Wow. And it sails over his head.
And
he's still struggling to come up with it. He goes down, and so but Hawthorne's going to get possession of the ball at the 20-yard line, at the Leuzinger 20-yard line. So, boy, you talk about a gift. You start your drive in the red zone.
Now that's a break for the Cougars for sure. As Paul Fuller, the quarterback, was actually back in to receive the punt. But that's actually did they spot it at the 20 or
they
just
spotted
inside?
At the just on the inside of it, but it's a red zone possession. As you can see from there, boy, they've got it lined right on the line.
So Fuller brings them under center in an unusual formation, just a guard on the right side, and a good penetration by the Leuzinger defense. As David, actually that was Ryan Smith, the running back. And I'm going to call that a no gainer. So that was a good defensive play by Leuzinger. Paul Fuller coming back out. So it'll be second down. Actually, they give him a loss on the play, Rufus, of 1. So it'll be second down and 11 for the Cougars at the Leuzinger 21-yard line. Fuller back to pass, looking, throws it in towards the end zone, has a man open, but it goes over the head of everybody.
Misses him completely, and here's the point. I mean, you've got this type of opportunity to start the game. It's the kind of opportunity that you want to take advantage of, and boy, we see over in the adjacent booth, there's the Mayor's. No, that's not the Mayor's Cup. That looks like that's going to be a trophy to somebody who perhaps is the MVP of the Mayor's Cup.
Boy, I don't know. That's a pretty handsome trophy, though. We'll have to get a shot of that up in the press box to our stage left. So Fuller rolls out, has the option to run. He's going to keep it, gets to the 20, steps inside the 10, down inside the 5-yard line. So a good play by the Cougars, and especially by Paul Fuller, to check the defense and hold them at bay as he gets the first down to the 5-yard line and a 16-yard gain.
So a big pickup on 3rd and 10. Leuzinger's defense, and we talk week in and week out at every level of football how important your third down defense is. This time, Leuzinger fails on its third down defense, and Hawthorne keeps the drive alive, and now they're inside the 10, knocking on the door.
Luis Cruz on the tackle for the Olympians, Paul Fuller. And now it looks like a timeout on the field with 5:06 left to go in the first quarter. So in the timeouts, that's number 1. And I would imagine that's going to be charged against Hawthorne.
Okay, and if it is, it's a good, I would say, considering the circumstance, it's a good timeout being called by Coach Swain, one in which he wants to make sure that they take full advantage of this opportunity. Full advantage means you want 7 here. You know, if you get 3, that's because you're settling for 3. Also, it'd be credit to Leuzinger's defense, but right now, Hawthorne Cougars are playing for 7 points here in the opening quarter.
Oh, absolutely. This would be terrific for the confidence of this team. And then Leuzinger, we were talking to some of the assistant coaches before the game tonight. It seems like Leuzinger is starting to come together as a team, Rufus, as far as their attitude and being on the same page. And the coaching staff agreed. They said, even we're getting on the same page, we meaning the coaching staff.
Right. And that's a good thing, and it does take some time.
So it's 1st and goal now for the Cougars at the Leuzinger 5-yard line. Hand off to the halfback coming down, and Eddie Thomas gets nailed right at the line of scrimmage. James Soakai with the tackle. Watch his head, Rufus. He just gets wrapped up by Big James.
That makes it a 3rd down play now. 3rd and goal from inside the 5-yard line.
Going to call it the 4-yard line. So a 1-yard gain for Thomas. 2nd and goal from the 4. Play action, throw over the middle, and it is caught into the end zone. Touchdown Hawthorne, DeAndre Flynn.
4-yard TD pass at the 4:18 mark from Fuller to Flynn. And just like that, The Cougars, take the lead. They open the scoring in the 2012 Mayor's Cup.
How about that? So coming on the tack on the extra point is Luis Aguirre from the soccer team, and he kicks it up, and it is good, just inside the right post. So
just inside the post, just over the bar. So it was close, in other words, but close counts.
That's right. So a 4-yard pass from Fuller to Flynn.
Fuller to Flynn.
We can't say the F-bomb.
Right. Well, we got it. Fuller to Flynn.
we got to come up with something.
Extra points good, so
That's
it's
right.
a 7-0 ball game.
So how about that? It's the Hawthorne Cougars strike first, and they capitalize on that bad snap on the punt.
Bad snap on the punt counts as a turnover. And again, how often do we see your opponent score off of your turnovers? And so for Leuzinger, that turnover came back to bite him.
So about 3 minutes and 15 seconds on the drive. 20 yards on the scoring drive, and it took 4 plays. So back to receive the kick. It's Travion Pope to our left, dressed in the road whites with the navy blue helmets and the navy blue numerals. Clad in their home scarlet with the gold trim are the Cougars. Luis Aguirre trying to go from a round ball to an oblong ball, a pointy ball.
Yep. And man, you talk about differences and changes in the works, and I'll get to a couple of those after this kickoff.
Aguirre, a high kick. Pope gets it at his own 25, or checked at the 15-yard line, is met at the 25,
Gotta
and
tuck
is
it
powered
away.
down. So it'll be 1st and 10 for
What? Oh, that's all good.
Leuzinger at their own 25. They're going to call it the 26-yard line, and I do believe I hear Rashawn Haylock downstairs.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. When Paul Fuller came off the sideline, the coaching staff congratulated him on the touchdown pass, but they asked him what happened a couple plays previously when he tried to hit Scarborough in the end zone. He left it way too tall. He said, man, I don't know. There was a defender in my face. I just tried to get rid of it. He definitely did that. He definitely made up for it by getting Hawthorne on the board here first, guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Rashawn. In the pro set, out of the eye. Ball is handed off straight ahead to Travion Pope, and Travion powering his way. Actually, that's number 9, Lua Kalolo.
And he picks up 9 yards on the play, matches his number. So yet again on 1st down, as we see the replay here. See, excellent blocking, boy. I mean, he's in the defensive backfield before the initial contact is made.
Going to go that way again, Rufus. Kalolo hides the ball and gets the 1st down, and across the 40-yard line to the 43-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Leuzinger Olympians at their own 43. So a gain of 8 yards and a 1st down for Kalolo. And I would imagine they're going to ride that horse until he wears out.
It looks that way. We'll see this time.
Double tight end set again. USC power I. Kalolo. And now this time coming around the bend to make the defensive play was Ryan Smith to grab on for a ride, but still a gain of about 5 yards. So up to the 47-yard line, so let's call it a 4-yard gain for Kalolo. He's carried the ball on all 3 plays.
He's carried all 3 plays, and they've got Rafael Galera in the backfield blocking for him.
And let's go over that big line. Robert Barbie is the anchor. He's the center. And the left tackle is Latu Pacetti. The right guard is James Soakai. The left guard, Javier Rivas. The right tackle, Maloa Wolfgren. So there's some pretty big guys in there. One wide receiver, they split to the near side, right in front of us. Straight ahead again, and almost to the 50-yard line is Cololo. Going to call it the 49, so a 2-yard gain.
Sets up a 3rd and a long 2. And I got to tell you, as you see on the replay here, once again you see the lead block going through the hole first. Hawthorne defense brings him down at the midfield stripe, and now it's a big 3rd down play for them.
Well, Jamari White, the tight end, also on this right side, also in there. And it looks like a 1st down, just plowing their way through the Hawthorne line. And Cololo definitely with that 1st down inside of Hawthorne territory at the 46.
And the initial Hawthorne defender did not wrap him up, tried to bring him down with an arm tackle, as you'll see here on the replay. In fact, that's Flynn, who just caught the touchdown pass, and he ran right through Flynn's arms. Just like a hot knife through butter.
Handoff. Oh,
Fumble.
Ball's on the ground, as that was, I believe, Travion Pope. And Hawthorne says they have it, they do.
And the official agrees with them. So that's the 2nd turnover.
And that was Sal McGowan, the big senior lineman. Let's watch this, Rufus. And that was to Cololo.
Well, as you said, they were going to ride him till he broke. Well, he cracked right there, to say the least, by coughing up the ball.
Also, with the big hit was Saul Sierra. So it'll be Leuzinger's ball right at the 50-yard line with 1:20 left in the quarter. Fuller bounces a pass.
Not a good-looking pass there at all for Fuller. You know, the big thing now that they're talking about in football is eye discipline. And that is, how do you lock in on the receiver? How do you see the whole field before you throw the ball? Right there, I would say the eye discipline was not that good, in as much as that pass was thrown into the ground, as you mentioned.
Yeah, Fuller, I wonder if he's just making sure that self-preservation is the name of his game right now. So 119. Actually, a play ran off, Rufus, and only 1 second ran off of the clock. So a timeout that should be an official timeout. But now we just hear from the press box, or from the PA announcer, that that's a Cougar timeout. But okay. If that's the case, then 2 timeouts have been taken here just in this quarter.
2 timeouts in this quarter, and what we'll confirm when we get a chance is whether both of those were taken by the Cougars. We know we just heard an indication that this last one was taken by the Cougars.
Well, we'll see if the officials get that the clock going, or if somebody just missed it.
Well, normally, the official will be on top of that because they also have a clock that they keep on the side with them.
So it's 2nd and 10 from the 50-yard line for the Cougars in the spread offense. One back behind Fuller. Handoff to that running back, and Ryan Smith spins his way to the 46-yard line.
And number 9 comes up with the ball for the Olympians. Of course, we know that's Cololo. However, the officials don't give it to him. He's claiming there was a fumble on the play.
Well, he wants to get that ball back.
Absolutely. So now it's a 3rd. They're calling it 7, and it certainly is in that range, long 6, 7. They need to get down to the 40-yard line.
And it is Ryan Smith in the backfield, although Fuller rolling out to the right side now, throwing it, and didn't really have a man open, but still a good play for DeAndre Flynn trying to make that catch as it goes out of bounds.
Didn't have a man open, but he had a lot of field open. I was a little surprised with that pass. As we watched it unfold, I certainly thought he had a better shot at picking up the first down on the ground rather than through the air.
Coach Swain, or actually that's one of the line coaches, teaching, always teaching. Luis Aguirre in punt formation for the Cougars. Travion Pope getting ready to receive it, and another bad snap, and Aguirre.
And he's down. Okay. So that's a turnover. So here in the first quarter, we've had 3 turnovers by both teams, 2 of them on bad snaps.
And Passetti with the tackle, so 29 seconds left to go in the quarter. And Leuzinger has a golden opportunity to tie this one up. As we see the replay, Aguirre doing the right thing and just falling on the ball. So the ball is spotted at the 38-yard line, we'll call it. 1st and 10 for Leuzinger. Paluca gives the ball off to Galera, and he spins down towards the 30-yard line to the 31.
And normally when you're the blocking back, that's what when you go back to your side and you say to the coach, hey, okay, throw me a bone once in a while. and so Galera gets one, and he makes good use of it. He picks up 8 yards on the play.
And that's the end of the first quarter. And as we go to a break, Leuzinger will have the ball, 2nd down and 3 from the Cougars' 31-yard line. And they trail the Cougars 7-0 in the 2012 Mayor's Cup. Back here at Howcap Field, and it's a 2nd down and 3, a short 3, and a flag on the play that usually means somebody's lined up offside, as Rafael Galera was lined up.
And this is going to be a big flag, first of all, depending on which way it goes. Well,
that goes against Hawthorne, so that's a first down.
That's yep. I was going to say it wouldn't have been an automatic first, but it was enough for the first down. Because it was a second. Well, no, the point is it was a 2nd and 2.
Right.
And it's a 5-yard thing, so.
So the ball is down to the 26-yard line now, 1st and 10. Man in motion is Pope. Ball is handed off. Kind of a busted play, as this one's a big loss, Rufus, all the way back to about the 31-yard line. Does that look like, again, the Lua Kalolo? Actually, it's Travion Pope.
And you're right. He tried to find a spot to run in, but the spot he found wasn't the one he needed to be in, because that spot had 3 Cougars in it.
So it's a loss on the play of 4 yards, so it's 2nd down and 14 for Leuzinger. Deep inside of Hawthorne territory, trying to get the game tied up. Peloka, play action pass, has a man open towards the end zone. It is caught in the end zone. Touchdown Leuzinger. Dakari Pascal on a 30-yard hookup from Sammy Peloka to Dakari Pascal.
Peloka to Pascal. As we see on the replay here, Peloka drops back, nice throw. Leuzinger defended too much separation between him. Hard to tell who the, I said Leuzinger defender, should have meant Cougar defender. Way too much space though.
Let's try the point after here as it's up, and it is good. That was kicked in by Jose Padilla, and we're all tied up at 7. Let's go down to Rashawn.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. Now, right behind me is Corey Thedford. He's known around these parts as Coach Corey. He's the security officer behind me on top of the moped-looking thing. Now, he's a coach on the Hawthorne High School football team. He coached the offensive line and defensive line. Now, he's on duty right now. He doesn't get off of work until about 8 o'clock, so another 35 minutes. After that, he's going to change, and he's going to join Coach Swain and company over on the Hawthorne sidelines and then continue his duties as an assistant coach. We're going to hear from Corey a little bit later on in the broadcast, guys, so you want to be tuned for that.
All right. Thank you very much, Rashawn. As Padilla kicks the ball off with 11:09 left to go in the first half. Ball is taken by Hawthorne at about the 20-yard line and across to the 25. And it'll be 1st and 10 after the return by Damari Yearwood.
And one of the things that, to add to the piece that Rashawn just did, and that was that Corey Theft had played here at Hawthorne, all right?
Okay.
Family member of Coach House as well, who coached basketball
That's
here.
Right. Four plays, 38 yards, and 30 seconds for the Leuzinger Olympians to tie this one up. Puloka to Pascal, a 30-yard touchdown pass as Fuller hands the ball off on a good gain by the Cougars.
Excellent game by the Cougars and nearly popped for a whole lot more than that. Just could not get squared around the corner on that play. Picked up good yardage on it, though.
About a 6-yard gain.
After 6, that was where he met the wall of Leuzinger defenders.
So it'll be 2nd down at about 4 yards to go, Rufus, for 1st down for the Cougars. All tied up at 4, so we got a ball game here. Fuller back to pass. Flushed out of the pocket, he's going to run. Close to a 1st down, he should have it. And he's pushed out of bounds by Travion Pope on the near sideline, but that's good enough for a 1st down.
1st down by Fuller on the run, which is very similar to the play in the first quarter. It was on the opposite side of the field where I was saying I thought that he had the opportunity to pick up the first with the run instead of the pass, and this time he does elect to run and pick it up.
So an 8-yard gain for Fuller, and it's 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line, and a timeout. If that's taken by the Cougars, which it is, that should be all 3 of their timeouts.
Okay, and while they're doing that, one of the things I'm noticing down on the sideline is on the Cougar bench, Damari Yearwood, looks like the team doctor was checking out Damari Yearwood, looking in his eye. They're putting some solution in, so I don't know whether he got something in his eye or not. Initially, when they were doing it, I thought they were doing a concussion test for him, but hopefully that's not the case, because if it is, then that means he's out for a week. But right now it looks like he's going to be okay.
That's good. Rashawn Haylock's right there on the scene, too, giving medical advice, I'm sure.
Well, I'm trying to scoop Rashawn, man, and this guy gets everything, so, you know. I saw it first, so I went ahead and called it.
Wait a minute. Wasn't Rashawn Haylock the guy who chased Lane Kiffin away at that
Well,
press
he did, but
conference?
Rashawn got a couple other scoops he didn't share, like Reggie Morris going over to Redondo Union High School to be the coach
right.
here. Didn't know that. And then I was talking to Coach Wardolph coming in, and I'll tell you about that one as well in just a moment.
Fuller flushed out of the pocket, heaves it downfield, has a man open on the far sideline. It is caught.
Wow.
Caught inside the 20-yard line, near the 20-yard line, about the 24 by Hawthorne.
And his receiver, when we see on the replay, his receiver walked backwards about 4 yards.
Is that Xavier Clark?
Going to see on the replay here, Fuller drops back. I mean, just heaves it down the field with everything he had. And yes, that was number 1, Xavier Clark. As you see on the replay, Clark backpedaled, moonwalked about four additional yards.
So a huge gain for the Hawthorne Cougars. And it's 1st and 10 at the 24-yard line. And that's Cololo stopping Deshaun Williams. and his first carry of the night. But that's about a 2-yard gain. Down to the 22-yard line.
Lawndale comes into the night's contest with a 1-3 record. Leuzinger 0-4. This, of course, is the last pre-league contest for both teams. You play in most leagues, there are 5-team leagues. You play 5 pre-league or non-league games, as they're called. Playoff position is dependent upon league play and not non-league play. So you can go 0-5 or 1-4, whatever the case may be after tonight is over, because somebody will be one or the other. But then you can turn around in league play and run the table or finish in a high enough position to earn a playoff bid.
So it's 3rd down and 7. Fuller, play action, didn't fool the Leuzinger Olympians, but he slips away, gets towards the 10-yard line.
And he picks up the first, though, as I watch the head linesman on the far side as he steps in. He's indicating there's enough for the first down.
That's an 11-yard gain on the run after a big 36-yard hookup from Fuller to Xavier Clark to get down into Leuzinger territory, but a nice run by Fuller. His last 3 carries, Rufus, of 16, 8, and 11 have all been for first downs. Out of the eye. Handoff.
Try to go around the left side this time, not with a lot of success. And, of course, right now, ball protection is the key.
2nd down, no gain. 2nd down and 10 from the 11-yard line. That was Williams, and he was tackled on the play by his opposite number, Cololo.
Now, what's interesting, I don't know whether that was by design, Lou, but one of the things that was accomplished on the play is that they got the ball in the middle of the field, ostensibly to make the field goal attempt, if that's what they're forced into, a much easier option.
Eddie Thomas and Ryan Smith split in the backfield,
Well,
and the ball is
they won't
caught
have to worry about that
and
because
into
they
the
got
end
a
zone.
touchdown.
Touchdown, Hawthorne.
That's looks like an 11-yard touchdown pass. Once again, we're going to see Fuller dropping back. Looks good. This time we talked about the eye discipline. The eye discipline, very good on that play.
That's Eddie Thomas.
It's this guy Thomas. So you got Fuller to Thomas, 11-yard TD pass.
That was a good-looking drive, Rufus.
It was a good-looking pass by Fuller.
For a kid who doesn't pass a whole lot, he's getting comfortable here in the first half as Aguirre coming on to kick the extra point. It is up, and it is good. So with 6:56 left to go in the first half, Hawthorne gets back on top in the Mayor's Cup, 14-7 over Leuzinger. And let's go down to Rashawn.
Damari Yearwood come off the field earlier on with that injury. The training staff here on the Hawthorne sideline gave him a concussion test. They asked him a myriad of questions, had him go through a myriad of exercises, and he passed. So look to see him get back into the game here shortly.
All right, thanks a lot.
Where have we heard that story before? Man, is there no honor in this business anymore, Lou? It used to be a time when a guy, if he scooped you, and you left him with his story.
That's right. I mean, you knew that.
Now I guess that's what you call a retweet.
And Travion Pope gets around a man into the secondary and is running across midfield. Travion Pope still on his feet. Pope finally tackled at about the 37-yard line. And I tell you what, was that Eddie Thomas who's just scored the touchdown? I believe it was, along with number 42, who's not in our program.
And no flags on the play. Once again, here we're going to see the return. And what'll be interesting about this is that once they think they got him wrapped up, the kicker there, and that's what you tell to keep digging. That was number 50.
That was Aguirre.
Who tried to wrap him up to no avail.
So a big return by Travion Pope. But Luis Aguirre is getting used to playing with his hands.
And one of the things, Lou, that we haven't mentioned tonight, and of course we knew it, and we just haven't had the opportunity, and that's Marcus Mitchell, whom we saw do a lot of the running duties for Leuzinger a couple of weeks ago over at Lawndale, was injured in that game. And talking to the coaches, he hasn't been a part of the program for the past couple of weeks.
2nd and 2, an 8-yard gain down to about the 28-yard line.
Good game tackling that time by the Cougar defense. That was Cololo with the carry. Another point that I was mentioning earlier, we talked about, boy, on the round ball side, a couple of changes. I mean, you talk about a monumental shift. Reggie Morris going over to Redondo.
Right.
Is a huge one. And I know this is football season. We'll talk about that in the weeks to come. But also, Coach Wardorf has resigned his position, still on faculty here, still on staff, but wanted to spend more time with his young daughter. And so Hawthorne's going to have a new coach coming in when we get the round ball season come December.
Flags on the play. It looked like the left side of the Leuzinger line moved. And Jonathan Gomez, I do believe, jumped offside, the left tackle. So it'll be now 3rd and about 8.
Exactly. And of course, if you're Leuzinger, those kind of penalties that take you out of a 3rd and short and put you in a 3rd and long situation are the kind, if you're a coach, you absolutely hate. Well, you talk about helping your opponent's defense. That's what those penalties do, man, because now it changes their options completely defensively in terms of what they can do, and it gives them a better chance at it.
So it's back to the 33-yard line, and back is Cololo with the pass, and it was caught by Travion Pope. But hello.
And now we got flags on the play. I don't know if it's excessive celebration or a blow to the upper body, to the head. The upper body doesn't matter here. We see the official's indication, which comes real quick. Blow to the head would seem to be the indication. And
let's watch the play, Rufus. Well, there it is.
That looked pretty clean to me. If we can see it one more time and slow it down a bit.
That's Paul Fuller.
Well, there's no blow to the head there,
nope,
Lou. I mean,
that's just a concussion.
Right. That's a clean hit. In fact, he lowered his head, and that blow was in the shoulder. Okay, so don't know about that call, boy. That's a tough one if you're a Cardinal fan to take.
Or even a Cougar fan.
A Cougar fan, excuse me.
Down to the 10-yard line. And dancing towards the end zone and tackled inside the 5-yard line. And that's Galera. Paul Fuller on the tackle again.
I think you're right with Galera. If we're looking at Leuzinger, Fuller's his own guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So down to the 4-yard line, so a 6-yard gain.
Oh, it was Fuller in on the tackle.
Right, Fuller, so dueling 4s. So the pass play was 12 yards to the 25 and then 15 yards down to the 10.
And I want to make a note of that penalty call because that has the potential to be a drive changer.
And good defense by the Cougars, especially by Xavier Clark, because Lua Cololo had a full head of steam.
And Fuller again, though, that time in on the play as well. As we watch the replay, Fuller sets up, man, and he goes low to bring Cololo down.
So no gain on the play. So it'll be 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal from the 4-yard line. trying to tie it up. And down near the goal line, but no pay dirt. As that was Cololo again. He was stopped on the play by number 44, and he's not on our list.
And now Coach Jenkins has to make a decision, and looks like he's going to elect to use a timeout here. I believe Coach Swain's used all of his. So Coach Jenkins calls a timeout because with 4th and goal from the 2-yard line, questions what you're going to do.
What would you do, Coach?
Here's what go for it. Well, actually, it looks like they've got a pretty decent kicking game. This does make it a much more difficult decision than it normally is here, where we haven't seen much of a kicking game. So the question is, do you take the 3, which is sitting there for the taking, or again, there's a touchdown at the goal. But Hawthorne has played good defense. I'm not so sure I'd want to test these guys, to be honest with you.
Well, Leuzinger. Well, this was at the end of the game. We know what happened at 4th and in the red zone against Lawndale. As bringing him out is their quarterback, Sammy Puloka, and they're going to go for it. With 2:50 left to go in the first half, 4th and goal at the 2-yard line. Think they're just going to go right up the middle?
Well, they're in an I formation. It would seem to suggest that,
play action.
Boy, they dropped back to pass.
Beautiful.
I cannot believe. Wow.
And that's going to be a touchdown, and that's Loa Kololo. So touchdown, Leuzinger on the 2-yard pass from Puluka to Kololo.
And I was looking at the coaches here on the sideline, including Coach Swain, and he has his arms on his hip. If you watch the replay, let's watch this. I mean, there's not a Cougar in the zip code, folks.
Well, everybody
not
thought.
Even in the zip code, though.
All the defenders thought the same thing. Handoff up the middle to Kololo. Snap back, ball down, and it is blocked. We've seen that before, too, on the Leuzinger kicking team. So that's no good. So with 2:43 left to go in the second quarter, it's a 1-point ball game in this Mayor's Cup. Let's watch the extra point, and that was almost a replay of the Lawndale game we saw at the end of the game.
So it was a 2-yard pass to Kololo from Puluka. Paloka, I should say. To Kololo, and the XP was nada, so it makes it 14-13. So if there's a break to be had, the Cardinals catch them. My goodness. The Cougars.
Well, let's count how many plays that was. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plays in 4 minutes. Ball gets into the hands of the Cougars and about a 10-yard run back on the stop. Number 57 for Leuzinger on the kicking team, one of the JV guys, because he's not on our list. But it'll be 1st and 10 for Hawthorne at their own 26-yard line. With 2:39 left to go on the 62-yard drive, Puluka's 2-yard pass to Kololo makes it a 1-point game.
Now let's see what the Cougars can do here with 2:39 left in the first half.
Fuller hands it off on the sweep around the left side. Leuzinger's Olympians are there on defense, and that's going to be a loss, Rufus.
And of course, we know that if you're Hawthorne, the first thing you want in this situation with only 2:30 and clock running left in the half is ball protection first and foremost. Try to pick up at least a first down. You'd love to get in scoring position, but your priorities, considering where you are, is that, hey, if we can get out here and get to the locker room with a 14-13 lead, man, that's a whole lot more than I think some of these Hawthorne Cougar fans thought better position they thought they'd be in at this stage of the game.
2nd and 11, and a handoff up the middle again into the teeth of the Olympian defense. and number 25 is not on our roster.
Now
And the tackle was made by number 57, who is also not on our roster.
Now there's plenty of time left. Clock's running, though. I'm a little surprised that Leuzinger hasn't elected to use one of their timeouts. By my count, they've got 2 left. Maybe they're planning to use them on offense. I'm sure if they don't pick up this first down on this third down play, clock's at 1:20, that Leuzinger will use one timeout in order to get the ball with some time left, because they should get it in pretty decent field position if they're able to hold here and force Hawthorne to punt.
Fuller back to pass, has time, passes, is caught. Nice catch, and that's by the number 7, Flynn, and Flynn gets to midfield across into Olympian territory. That'll be a first down for the Cougars with 1:01 left to go in the half.
So Flynn has become their go-to guy on the receiving core as Fuller drops back, looks to his right, sees this guy cutting across, and then.
So it's 18 yards on the gain there, Rufus, and Fuller is having a pretty good half passing. Out of the eye. Handoff up the middle. Stuttering into the center of the line is Ryan Smith, and pushed back all the way into Hawthorne territory. It looks like we have a flag on the play, Rufus.
And considering the fact that they allowed the play to continue is an indication it's going to be against the defense, I would think.
Now Hawthorne is back at their own 30-yard line. So now the referee is talking to Leuzinger's defensive captain, that's Sammy Puloka. So that's against Hawthorne. Probably got a hold.
No, not on the 5. Well, on the procedure, the play should have been blown dead, if I'm not mistaken, once it occurred. That's why I thought it was against the defense.
So they're going to play first down again. 40 seconds left to go. It's first down and 15. Fuller back to pass, looking, has time. Down on the near sideline, a caught pass at about the 49-yard line, 48-yard line by Flynn again. So out of bounds, stops the clock with 28 seconds left in the half.
Okay, and what you got to do, one of the little things, well, let's see. Okay, it's an indication that a timeout's being called by Hawthorne. So we had some slightly erroneous information early on because we thought that Hawthorne had used all 3, but apparently they had not.
Well,
so now they have.
Remember when we thought the second timeout was either an official timeout or Hawthorne's timeout, so obviously it was an official timeout. We weren't wrong, we just weren't quite right.
There you go.
What did your grandfather used to say? I may not always be right, but I'm never wrong.
There you got him again.
So this has been a pretty
seems
good
like
first half.
My granddad was over at your house a whole lot.
We had a bigger
TV. You know a whole lot of stuff that he used to say.
We had the first color TV on the block.
I can remember that day. I mean, you say that jokingly. Some of these kids don't realize that. I mean, they don't realize the old days when you took that multicolored plastic screen and put it over in black and white, and that was your color.
I remember buying one of those, trying to get one on Boys Life, or from Boys Life. Back to passes, Fuller gets away from one man, but ooh, look out. He is going to get munched by the opposite quarterback, Puloka. Okay. And that ate up a lot of time, and that's without a timeout left. This is going to end the first half.
Right. Well, who's going to call that timeout?
It's got to be Leuzinger. Well, wait a minute.
Wow. Well, we keep hearing third and final. That's the second third and final timeout they've had.
Well, that's the final.
And I'm not sure I would have called that one, to be honest with you. I think I would have just, went to the locker room, unless you're going to throw what has become affectionately known now as a Hail Mary pass, toward the end zone and force these guys to make a decision.
And by the way, that was a 5-yard loss, so it's going to be, that, fourth down and 10?
So here's the problem. Here's
Third
the
and
reason
10.
I wouldn't have called a timeout, Lou, but instead just went ahead and let the clock run out. Every time you snap it, you're creating an opportunity for a turnover. Okay?
Right. Well, they're trying to look at it the opposite way.
Well, yeah, but there's a point when you close up the suitcase and you leave. Okay? Now, let's see what happens here. Looks like they're just going to take a knee on the play. No?
No, Fuller back to pass, and look out. He is sacked.
Well,
no, he gets away, but a
okay.
knee went down as Puloka had him.
Okay.
And that is going to end the first half of play.
And
So
I think that's a good thing for the Cougars.
So the first half of the Mayor's Cup of 2012 is in the books. See if Harold Hoffman and his counterpart are in the house. Cougars are up by 1 point, defending their cup, 14-13. We'll be back with the second half and the unofficial stats right after this. Second half kickoff just about ready to get underway with Hawthorne leading and kicking to Leuzinger. Let's go to Rashawn.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I talked to both coaches coming up the locker room at halftime. On the Hawthorne side, Coach Swain said that he was pleased with the intensity in which his team played with in that first half. However, he said he told them that they can't trade touchdowns here in the second half. Defense has to get some stops. And over on the Leuzinger side, pleased with the offense. Defensively, there are some blown assignments that caused them to have this deficit here at the half. But Coach said as long as they come out here, play smart, play discipline, they should be able to win this game. Guys?
Thank you very much, Rashawn Haylock. Terrific job as usual, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Olympians. We'll call it the 30-yard line as the second half gets underway, Rufus.
Second half underway. Hawthorne halfway home, leading 14-7. And one of the big plays in that second quarter that led to that second Leuzinger touchdown was the 15-yard blow to the head penalty against the Hawthorne defense. There's a fumble on the play. They got to pick it up.
Hawthorne still looking for it, still bouncing around. Now it's in the end zone, or is it? It's out of bounds. And oh my goodness, somebody should have just fallen on that greasy pig. Or is that a touchback now?
Well, if it went out of bounds, then it should be a touchback.
Well, they're marking it on the 5-yard line, though.
Oh, that's right. But if it went out of bounds, it went out the back of the end zone, it would have been a touchback. But again, don't know if we had that replay, but Hawthorne missed a key opportunity, guys.
So it's a 25-yard loss, and it's second and a whole bunch for Leuzinger.
Now, if we get a chance to see that fumble that bounced around before it was picked up at the 5, there's an instructional point there for young players. The first objective is to get the ball, fall on the ball. Hawthorne had several opportunities. Here we're going to see the fumble. Now we see the ball loose. Nobody's in front of the ball. There we see him trying to pick it up. Missed opportunity. If you drop down on the ball, it's all yours. But instead, ball ends up staying in the possession, of the Leuzinger Olympians. So a missed big thank you to our fine crew led by none other than Mr. Tom Strickfadden.
So
missed opportunity there for the Hawthorne Cougars, though, Lou. That's
5-yard gain by Cololo, and so now it is 3rd down and 40. Or 30, excuse me. 3rd down and 30. They have to get to the 40-yard line. So the ball is marked on the 10. So out of the shotgun.
Let's see how good your 3rd down defense is.
Exactly. Puloka. Now the line moves, and let's see if Hawthorne gives them 5 more. Or if they were drawn off. It looked like Hawthorne jumped offside. Leuzinger, 5 yards in penalties in the first half. Hawthorne, 30 yards in penalties. Make that 35. So add on 5. It's now at the 15.
So still, as you noted earlier, simply 3rd and 25. Got to get to the 40. Boys dropping back to pass.
Going for it.
Lays it out.
Has
Wow.
a man open.
Good
and
defensive
just
play there by the Cougar that made that. Looks like that was number 12. If that was number 12, that was Eddie Thomas.
The ball was just as short, just short of the receiver. As there you see it.
Was it Eddie Thomas or did John Gillespie?
That was Eddie
Still can't-
Thomas,
no,
and the intended receiver was
No, it looks
Dakari
like it.
Pascal.
Looks like it was 32 though. Don't want to take anything away from anybody. And if it was 32, that was Gillespie.
So in punt formation is Padilla, and back at the 50-yard line is the Cougar receiver.
Wow, kick blocked and picked up.
So the Olympians
No, the Cougars will take over.
have their punt blocked
Wow.
and give it up deep in their own territory. Is that inside the 5-yard
That's
line?
inside
It's
the
at the
5.
At the 4. So a block punt. So at the 4-yard line, Hawthorne takes over at the Leuzinger 4-yard line. And they're up by a point, 14-13, with 10:39 left to go in the third quarter. Here come the Cougars. Let's see what Paul Fuller has in mind. Ball is handed off to number 25 and down towards the goal line. The ball is just short of the goal line at about the 1-yard line. So a 3-yard gain. So down to the 1-yard line, it'll be second goal, and that was Paris McDaniel. Ball is handed off to McDaniel again, and he's hit behind the line of scrimmage and may have lost some yardage, Rufus. Puloka on the tackle, but also getting in there in a hurry was the linebacker, Luakalolo, in with the early hit.
And our partner, Rashawn Haylock, comes up and gives us a couple of corrections on some numerical issues here.
That's
course,
right. That was a big
These guys
question
don't
mark.
help us out a whole lot in terms of these programs because numbers change.
Fuller with it, going towards the end zone, into the end zone. Touchdown Cougars. With a 1-yard run, and that was a keeper on the bootleg. Victor Martin.
Somewhere
I
in the
asked
house.
Victor right down there in the
There
gold
he is.
shirt. He's a freshman this year now at Long Beach State and a star coming up on the track team. I asked him if he's doing a 100-yard dash as we see Fuller dash into the end zone. And Aguirre will line up to put tack on the extra point as it's 20-13 now. Snap good, spot good, kick is up, and it is no good. So with 9:33 left to go in the third quarter, it's 20-13, a 7-point ball game in the Mayor's Cup. And that's, I guess, the only thing that the Olympians can take away from this is that they're still within striking distance.
Very, very much so within striking distance. And as Rashawn mentioned before, one of the things that Coach Swain doesn't want his team to get into is a trading touchdowns with Leuzinger. And right now, I mean, you simply have a touchdown and extra point. It's the difference in this ball game. So it's still lots of time left and anybody's ball game. But that's the second gift in this game that Leuzinger has given Hawthorne. And to Hawthorne's credit, they have capitalized on both of them.
20-13 is the score. Aguirre kicking the ball off to Travion Pope, who muffs the punt, or muffs the kickoff, and picks it up at the 4-yard line. Travion now trying to get away from the Hawthorne Cougar, and a terrific open field tackle by Hawthorne, and that definitely is Eddie Thomas.
All righty. Well, good job, Eddie Thomas, on that play. As you see the return, as you mentioned, a little muffed there. Goes back to pick it up, creates a real problem for himself. Hawthorne not making the kind of open field tackles, at least most of the guys are, that could actually aid their case.
Hawthorne's cheerleaders, their spirit squad, doing another terrific job this year. 1st and 10 from about the 10. For Leuzinger. Pinned back deep in their own zone again. Puloka under center. Keeps it and has the ball actually hit Rufus by a defensive lineman.
There's a flag on the play. A couple of flags, actually, so it's going to be interesting who this call goes against. Well, it's passed.
Is that pass interference?
Yep, and it's against Leuzinger, and not Leuzinger, it's against Hawthorne. It's going to bring the ball out to the 25-yard line. So that gives the Olympians a whole lot of breathing room, takes them from having their back against their own goal line out to respectable field position at the 25-yard line.
So pass interference, and Hawthorne makes the Leuzinger ball carrier pay for that one. That was Cololo. Sal Magayon with the tackle. Let's go down to Rashawn real quick.
Oh, you got me. All right, here I am. This is it, guys. This is what they're playing for. This is the Mayor's Cup. Now, Hawthorne has had this trophy for the first time in 10 years. Remember that big win they had against Leuzinger last year? Before they won that, the last time they had won was 2001, and Coach Swain is very, very fond of that win, noting that they went for a two-point conversion to win that game. Now, tonight, the Cougars are trying to win back-to-back Mayor's Cups for the first time since 1997, 1998, guys. Let's see if they can hold on for this win.
And Puloka barely held on to the football, Rufus, as he was upended by Xavier Clark on that run that gives the Olympians the first down.
He was upended. Ball came loose. Let's see if we agree.
Well, yeah. He was down. Well, there's the ball, too.
Right. And the umpire, Tom Cintron, in on the play, very emphatic that he was down on the play.
Hawthorne doing some gang tackling. Travion Pope gets to about the 36-yard line. Actually, that's not a big gain at all.
Gonna look again at that fumble to see if he was down. And I believe you see the elbow hitting first. And if the elbow hit first and the ball came loose, then he was down.
That was a close one, but a good one. Puloka on the draw play, and here comes Cololo. Cololo gets enough for the first down, gets across midfield into Hawthorne territory, finally brought down by Paul Fuller. Down to about the 48-yard line inside of Hawthorne territory. So a terrific run by Lua Cololo, finally getting back on track.
Cololo catching his second win, Lou. I started to talk about how, as you had mentioned at the top of the broadcast, how they were running him every play. And for a moment there, even in this half, I thought Hawthorne had started to figure it out. But that time, Cololo breaks loose on him for a huge gain that puts him into Cougar territory.
We'll call it a 20-yard gain. He gets it again, Cololo does, and is finally tackled after another nice gain by Cololo. Ryan Smith on the tackle down to the 40-yard line. So an 8-yard gain.
And again, you see on the replay here, Cololo just bulling over Cougar defenders before he's finally brought down.
A lot of these guys on this team are going both ways. So we'll see who is in better shape coming down the stretch here with 6:30 left to go in the third quarter, and Leuzinger trailing by a touchdown and an extra point.
It's been a pretty long third quarter so far, by the way. Now it looks like going to have a delay of game penalty. Is going to be our guess.
So this is going to go back to about the 45-yard line.
In fact, it'll make it a 2nd down and 12, let's call it. So once again, the penalty is going to help the defense of the Cougars. Now let's see if they can capitalize. Still 2nd down, so Leuzinger has plenty of opportunities left.
2nd down and a long 11, call it 12. Peloka back to pass. Travion Pope is in his intended receiver. Xavier Clark on the defense.
Wow, some contact, but the side judge, or the line judge, as he's called, John Philactu, lets it go.
So it'll be 3rd down and 12-yard line, 12 yards to go, should say, for the Leuzinger Olympians, with 5:58 left in the third. Spread offense, 2 receivers to either side. In the shotgun is Peloka, 1 back with him. Looking to the left, man open, caught by Travion Pope. Not going to be enough for a 1st down, although it is down to about the 38-yard line. So it's going to be 4th down and about 4 yards to go. So on the play, was a 6-yard pass. 5 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the third quarter, and we have a timeout on the field. Leuzinger takes a timeout.
And just in case folks are thinking about going someplace, Lou, we've got a special, a CityTV special coming up between the third and fourth quarters. Rashawn Haylock will be interviewing the new Hawthorne High School basketball coach, David Egan's.
How about that? Yeah, Ben Wardup said that the new coach was in the house, but he wouldn't divulge who it was, but he was definitely going to intro him to us.
He's going to intro him, and Rashawn gets the scoop.
That's it. All right, you look thoroughly frustrated because you're up here.
Well, I mean,
you're bigger
I
than
got
he
my
is.
one scoop early on, but you know, I mean,
You're bigger than he is. Go switch places with
Yeah,
him. You have tenure here.
That's why they didn't give him the name, Rashawn Scoop Haylock.
Deer in the headlights, I call him after that Lane Kiffin interview.
He didn't look none too happy, I tell you that, man. When I saw
Rashawn or Lane?
Exactly, Rashawn.
Okay.
Rashawn either, man.
Back to pass on 4th and 5. Going for it, a man open, and is it caught over on the sideline? Wide open is Travion Pope, who dropped the ball, and it looks like he covered it up, or no?
Well, let's see.
So they're umpiling the players, and it is Leuzinger ball. So it's 1st and 10 from about the 20-yard. Check that, the 10-yard line, Rufus. A big gain on the play of 39 yards.
Big game on the play. Hawthorne defense not allowing them to enjoy the prosperity of long yardage situations, and that was one that they let get away from them, where they had Leuzinger right where they wanted them and wanting to get that ball back. Now Leuzinger's in scoring position.
There was a 29-yard gain on the play. Out of the shotgun, Peluka trying to pick his way through down towards the 5-yard line. Good blocking up front by the Olympian offensive line.
Right now, Peluka runs to the sideline to get an instruction from Coach Jenkins. Haven't seen much blitz in the night, Lou. In fact, I don't know that we've seen a blitz play at all. But if you ask me, I think this is the time that if you're the Hawthorne Cougars, If you've got it in your repertoire, now's the time to put it to use.
Well, Leuzinger better hurry up and break huddle and get the play going because the snap clock is a running. 4:10 on the clock in the third quarter. Puloka under center. Back to pass is
And
hit.
came with it, and it's intercepted. Exactly as I drew it up, Lou. Pass is incomplete. I said intercepted, my bad. I meant to say incomplete. Boy, you talk about having an off night tonight. Googles, Cardinals, completion, incompletions. But
a lot of humidity in the air.
I know. Did call that play on the blitz by the Cougar defense, and they came, and there you see coming through
That was Ryan Smith.
Ryan Smith with the play that disrupted the throw by Puloka.
So it's 3rd and goal from the 8.
I think you come back with some more of that cooking.
Here they come. And
Wow.
now we have the pitch over on the right side of the reverse, and that's Kololo.
That's too
and he is
easy.
in for the touchdown. They fooled everybody.
That's too easy. I mean, how do you fool people when you know who their best player is?
That's
You
true.
would never fool me if I know who your best player is.
But that was a 90-yard drive, Rufus, and Kololo, don't know where he's one of the biggest horses out there, and he got lost in the backfield. So now Padilla on to tack on the extra point. Snap good, spot good, kick is up, and that is good.
Wow.
So with 3:52 left to go in the third quarter, we got ourselves a tied ball game for the Mayor's Cup. 20 all.
Courtesy of an 8-yard run by Kalola with an extra point attempt. That is good. And you are right, 20 all. We were tied at 7, and now we're tied again at 20.
That was a 90-yard drive, Rufus. And 3:52. That took 6.5 minutes. And let's count up how many plays that was.
And while you're counting that up, we'll look at the fact that
It's 12
Olympians
plays.
getting ready to kick it off.
So that was an impressive drive, also helped out by the pass interference call. And another muffed return down at
Double
the
muff,
10-yard
if there's
line.
such a thing. Wow.
That's called frosting right there. Number 15, that's Obina Akpa on that big hit on number 9, Deshaun Williams, who had the muffin and the frosting.
There's the first one there. There's the second one.
Stick a fork in it. So it's going to be 1st and 10. We also have a penalty on the play, Rufus. Is this going to be deep inside of Cougar territory? Or is that where Deshaun was tackled at the 10-yard line?
Well, we know he was given ground, which is to be expected anytime you mishandle the ball twice.
Well, that's where Akpa might have hit him, so that's where we're going to start things. And this straight handoff up the middle. And that is Paris McDaniel. Paris McDaniel. And he gets a gain up to about the 13-yard line. So a 3-yard gain for Paris. And it's going to be 2nd down and 7. Yeah, Victor Martin given a big assist. So he's he should get credit for school for that, for being our intern.
Right. And right now, if you're the Cougars, you definitely got to pick up a first down here and give your defense some room to work with. You want to show, though, that you can go the distance of the field just like Leuzinger just did. But if nothing else, and you incrementalize what you want to accomplish. And right now, you aren't thinking scoring. You're thinking picking up first downs and moving the ball up the field.
McDaniel moved the ball another 4 yards, so it is at the 17-yard line. So it's 3rd down and 3.
A very long three, though. If I were them, I'd get 4, just to be sure.
Fuller out of the eye. Play fake. He's going to run it himself on the bootleg over on the left side, and he's going to run into a white-shirted
But he
wall.
picked it up, though. That's the key. That's the key. That's the second first down that Fuller has picked up on the ground with running. And the way they're setting that play up, man, it just opens up the whole side of the field for him. And he's got the foot speed to beat a big old lineman to that marker.
Good ball fake, too, Rufus. Looks like Leuzinger bid on it, but then there was a host of people there, led by Jamari White, to string it out and let the other Olympians wrap him up. So it's 1st and 10 from the 22-yard line for the Hawthorne Cougars, all tied up. 1:45 left to go in the third quarter. Some positive yardage after being hit right after handing the ball off. I'll tell you what, with that big old thing on his right hand, Latu Passetti making the hit. Watch Latu get in there. Boom.
Definitely pulls him down. When Latu gets his hands on you, you aren't likely to be going very far.
It's like he's got his hands on a big old torta. So the ball is at the 23-yard line, a gain of 1 for Williams, Deshaun Williams, wearing number 9 tonight.
Second down and 9 for the Cougars, and although the down marker shows first.
Long pass, and this is going to be to Clark, and
He
just
hit
in
his
and out
guy.
of the hands. Good defense on the play by Dakari Pascal, though.
Well,
I
you say
know.
good. I say it was fortunate because that ball still landed in Xavier Clark's hand. We're going to see here on the replay. Watch it. Great throw by Fuller. Lays it up there. And
Yeah, he
his
should have come down
his
with
guy slowed down on the play. If he keeps running through that, that's 7.
it. Xavier should have come down with it because Pascal stopped for the ball, and it went over his head.
Right.
So now it's 3rd down and 9. Going to run the ball, or throw the ball now, and Flynn can't catch up with it as Fuller was being chased around in the backfield by Puloka and also James Soakai. So 43 seconds left to go in the third quarter, and it's 4th down and 9.
It's one of those situations now, obviously, the Cougars will have to punt. The problem becomes, boy, unless you get away a great kick, you're going to give Leuzinger the ball in excellent field position. I mean, your guy is only lining up at the midfield stripe. And if he catches it there in any sort of return, puts him in a very bad position.
Travion Pope is the man in punt return formation, picks it up with a head of steam, gets across midfield, and is tackled at the 48-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Leuzinger Olympians at the Hawthorne 48. So good field position to end the third quarter.
But good coverage on that punt by the special teams for the Hawthorne Cougars. Leuzinger's never led in this contest. Never led. They now have the ball with the opportunity to get their first lead in the game.
So 28 seconds left to go in the third quarter. We'll see what Ronald Jenkins will tell Sammy Puloka to do.
Well, I know what he's going to tell Sammy Puloka to do. He's going to tell him to give it to Kalola. That's pretty easy. Let's watch and see.
You're going to give it to Galera,
Well, Galera said, okay, well, let's fool him this time.
and that's down to the 40-yard line. So that's a nice 8-yard gain for the Olympians. So it'll be 2nd down and 2 with the clock still running. They're just going to let this one run out, Rufus.
That's not a bad strategy. First of all, you're inside 10 seconds and no need to use that extra time to set up what your next play is going to be.
And the clock runs out of the third quarter. We have 12 minutes left to go in the Mayor's Cup. We'll be back with the exciting action on CityTV 3. But before that, we do have our special segment. So let's go to Rashawn.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I'm down here with new Hawthorne High School basketball coach, David Egan's. Coach, first of all, welcome. Congratulations. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How'd you end up here?
Thank you. I'm local. I played at Inglewood High School. Graduated in 1997. Played in Long Beach State. The last 3 years I've been coaching at West LA. And when the job came available, I was referred by former coach at Leuzinger High School, Reggie Morris, to Dr. Newell, and I came in and met, interviewed, and Dr. Newell sold it up in 2 days.
We know the type of coach that Coach Morris is. We covered him when he was at Leuzinger. Could we expect the same from your teams, up and down, pressure defense?
Well, what you can expect pressure defense. Coach Morris is a really good coach. I know his guys are really disciplined, so you could expect a team that's going to be really conditioned, really defend, and really disciplined. You know, playing hard and playing the right way, sharing the basketball, and playing together.
It's your first Mayor's Cup. What do you think so far through 3 quarters?
It's been pretty exciting. This is actually my first game. It's pretty exciting. The game is close. Both teams are playing hard. And I can't wait till we go on the basketball court and we play this game. So I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, thanks so much for stopping, Coach. We look forward to covering you guys as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
As Coach David Egan's, brand new basketball coach here at Hawthorne, guys.
Welcome, Coach Egan's. And now let's see how the Leuzinger Olympians did. That's going to be very close to a first down. They may have to measure this or... Yep, they're going to bring out the chains on this one. Down to about the 37-yard. Actually, they're going to call it a first down.
Yep.
Okay, never mind. And that one's down to, again, about the 36-yard line. So Paluca hands the ball off again.
Fumble. The ball was put on the ground.
And Paluca picked it up.
Now, I don't know if that was a fumble, Ruski. Let's look at that play or whether that was a fumble because it was actually just lying there on the ground. No, that was a fumble.
That was a fumble by number 4. That was Galera with the fumble. So at least he fumbled it.
Was the only guy in the building who knew the ball had been fumbled and was laying there for the taking.
So it's 2nd down and 10 out of the shotgun. Spread offense. Paluca looks to the left, throws underneath, and it's caught. And I believe that's to Pascal. And it gets down to about not a big gain.
Well, right now what Hawthorne is doing is that they're trying to guard against the big play, but boy, they're giving a whole lot of stuff underneath it. We've got an injured Cougar down on the field trying to get up under his own steam if we can get in there. There you see the pass there, first guy there, number 44, gets his hands on him and does bring him down. Of course, 44 is Jesus Morando.
Jesus gets up now. He might have been in the bottom of that tackle, been in the sandwich there, and he either got the wind knocked out of him or got injured for a part of the body where they don't give get well cards.
No, he looks like he's going to be okay, though. They're asking him, hey, do you need any help? And it looks like he's shaking it off, so.
That's good news. So it's 3rd down and 4 after the gain, and Galera again pushing the pile.
It's going to be short if that was the 3rd down play. Now it's a 4th down play, and we are getting in that territory where you got to start making some decisions where this is what you get paid for. You get that big old stipend as a coach to make these kind of decisions, brother. It looks like this one is actually, okay, now they changed the down marker over on the far side. If you look at the distance between the marker and the
about
yardage
4th and
marker.
2.
Yep.
So now we have a timeout on the field, and Hawthorne, I believe, called the timeout.
Should be there first of the second half, I believe.
Well, they may have, I don't know, did they use up some of their timeouts in this half?
Know.
But at any rate, this has been a terrific game. We have a new coach. We just were introduced. There's Coach Swain. But Coach Egan's
Yep. Coach David Egan's. Say he played at Inglewood High. So that means he played for Coach Patrick Roy. So we know he knows a little something about some basketball.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yep, he sure does. And then if Reggie Morris
Is a friend of his.
That's not bad company.
That's not bad company at all.
But in the meantime, we're coming back on here. 9:53 left to go in this one. A tie ball game at 20 all. And this has been about as evenly played a game as we've seen in a while, Rufus.
Okay, well, here comes a first big fourth down play of the game. First one, oh, and there you go. And looks like the Cougars are going to give it to them.
And that looked like number 42, and again, a player that's not on our list. So a kid up from the JV, as Coach Swain said, a lot of these young guys were going to get a chance to play tonight. So 4th and 2 is now going to be 1st and 10.
And at the 9:53 mark, I'm gonna call that a turnover. Anytime you give them on a fourth down play, you make a dead ball penalty by jumping offside. That's a turnover because you just kept your drive alive and you took yourself out of any defensive opportunity.
And the handoff down to the 20-yard line, inside the 20-yard line, and that was Kololo. So a 7-yard gain. Down to the 17-yard line. So Kololo with another big run. And it's going to be 2nd down and 3 yards to go. With 9:11 left in the 4th quarter. Out of the eye, looks like they're going to run again. Man comes in motion to the near side, and the ball is pitched to Kololo, runs around the left side, has wide open spaces, and runs into the end zone. Touchdown, Leuzinger. You talk about an easy way into the end zone.
Yep.
They just bunched up the line, and Kololo ran around it.
Exactly. And Marcus who?
Exactly. With Marcus Mitchell on the shelf, Kololo is doing just fine, thank you. Let's watch the replay. Good blocking up front. Look at that block.
And he can tell he's already there. Gives a signal that this one's good. Here's the extra point attempt, big extra point attempt, and that's good. Now, that's probably the most critical part of that play, Lou, the fact that that extra point attempt was good, because now what you're going to have is Hawthorne, one, needing to score, and their shaky kicking game is going to have to come up with the extra point.
So Kololo with a 17-yard run in about 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Now check that, it wasn't that long. Let's try 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. 6-play drive.
And so now for the first time in the contest, that's what we mentioned, Leuzinger takes the lead at 27-20. Let's see how good this Hawthorne Cougar team is at coming back. Still lots of time left, fans. We got 8:51 left in the ball game.
7-play drive, 48 yards, capped off by that 17-yard run by Kololo. Padilla kicks the ball off. Here come the Cougars to the 30-yard line, wrapped up.
Wow.
And that was Xavier Clark to about the 33-yard line. But it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars.
Now, if you're the Cougars, Lou, the first thing you got to do is remain patient and not panic. I know that Coach Swain and the coaching staff are patient and aren't panicked, but the question is, what's the state of mind of the players? As you talked about, a lot of young guys, now they're behind for the first time in the game. You start pressing a little bit. You want to get it all back on one play. Doesn't work that way. Work your way up the field, continue to stay with the same game plan, All right, and let's see how that goes for you. And every once in a while, if I'm the Hawthorne Cougars, man, I think about putting this thing up in the air because they've shown that one, Fuller can throw, and that Flynn and a couple of those guys can catch.
Fuller pitches the ball, and this one goes to Williams. Deshaun Williams turns up the speed and goes for a first down to about the 43-yard line.
Wow, he got a flag on the plate that we did not see. We're following the action, but it looks like the referee threw a flag. Well, that's back behind the offensive line.
An illegal block in the back.
Yeah.
So that takes the first down away and then some. So from the spot of the foul, they're going to say the 33-yard line, the line of scrimmage, actually.
Back them up 15 yards. And
well, they're going to give him actually 12 yards back to the 21-yard line.
Okay, so then it must have been from, I think you were right initially because there's no 12-yard penalty. It's either, unless you're inside the 20, it's either 5, 10, or 15. And so it's from the spot of the foul in 10 yards.
So from the 31, so 2 yards back for the line of scrimmage. So, first and 20. Fuller.
Fuller doesn't do too bad to pick up about half of that penalty on that play. Still, it's going to be a lot of real estate they got to cover before they're in first down position. They've got to get out to the 42-yard line. Ball right now spotted at the 30. In fact, they've got to get out to the 43-yard line.
So 9 yards on the play to the 30-yard line. Well, actually, now it's marked at about the, well, we'll call
right
it the 30. Okay, so it'll be second down at about 13 yards to go. Man in motion. That's Eddie Thomas. Back to pass. Fuller checks off the left side, goes right, and the ball is picked off at about the 37-yard line by Leuzinger. Travion Pope. Pope still on his feet, gets through the defense, is cutting back in, and finally tackled inside the 15-yard line. So a huge run back by Travion Pope on the interception.
Ball was laid up there by Fuller. Thought his guy had a chance at it. Comes up short, but then they compound the fact that it's an interception by not making the tackle there at the point of the interception when they had a clear opportunity to do so.
So right at the 15-yard line, that's a 50-yard return, Rufus. So with 7:06 left to go, Leuzinger has an opportunity at the 15-yard line of Hawthorne. Ball is handed off. Good defense as Kololo has nowhere to go but back. And good defense by Ryan Smith.
Couple of ticks under 7 minutes left here in the contest. Leuzinger leading 27-20. Knocking on the door again as the ball is spotted at about just outside the 15-yard line.
Let's call it a 1-yard loss for Kololo. That was his 17th carry of the game. Paris McDaniel comes on the field as a linebacker. And he replaces Sal Magallon.
Now Hawthorne calls a timeout. Obviously, we're not in defensive readiness, and Coach Swain recognizing that utilizes a timeout, realizing that this could be the game-winning drive for the Olympians, and in fact, they've got to stop them now.
Absolutely. So when you replace a lineman for a linebacker in a running situation, I can see why they had to take the time out there. A little bit of confusion.
A little bit of confusion, and they actually had not even got into their defensive set yet in terms of having their guys up on the line of scrimmage. So a good timeout taken by Hawthorne, and the question is, and the challenge for them is going to be, can they hold this Leuzinger offense at this point scoreless and Leuzinger deep in Hawthorne territory?
And also on the sideline, Xavier Clark for Hawthorne being checked out by the medical staff. So let's hope that Xavier is going to be okay. As Leuzinger is ready to get going, Hawthorne still getting their instructions. And a good crowd again here on Friday Night Lights, Hawthorne style. Second and 10, they're going to call it a no gain from the 15-yard line. Beloka on the reverse gives it to Travion Pope on the left side.
Wow.
Pope gets down inside the 5-yard line and finally stopped after a big gain.
And it was close to a block in the back against the Cougar defender on that play. The referee right on top of it, referee being Ty Paul. He didn't make the call. Let's look here, see if we can see it. Don't quite see it on the replay, but trust me, it was pretty close.
Well, for the most part, they've been letting them play, but Hawthorne has really gotten the brunt of the penalties. So it's first down and touchdown, Leuzinger. So that was Cololo with a 4-yard run. Well, when you give the ball there, the interception and the short field, Leuzinger takes care of business. Now Padilla getting ready to tack it on. Snap good, spot good, kick is good as well. So with 5:51 left to go in the ball game, it is now a 34-20 lead over Hawthorne. So Leuzinger with a good kick here in the fourth quarter coming down the stretch. Let's go to Rashawn.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. With the new coaching staff over there at Leuzinger and some new players as well, quite frankly, as some members of the coaching staff, does this group really know what this game means? And assistant Lex Brown told me, I think they do. They talk like they do. We also had some talks with them, so we'll see if it resonates. Well, guys, so far, it's looking like it resonated. Coach Brown had a story of his own to share with the group. A Leuzinger alum, he said he's still upset about the loss that they had to Hawthorne back in 1984. Players got the message, guys.
Thank you very much, Rashawn. My grandmother told me about that game. It is now the run back by Yearwood. Yearwood gets up to about the 31-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cougars, and with 5:44 left to go in the ball game, Rufus, this is a must-score drive.
Well, it's a must-score drive and a must-score quickly drive is what it is, ideally. So, but they've got a 14-point hole that they're in after having led coming out of the locker room at the half 14-13. The Olympians have outscored them 21-7 here in the second half.
So from the 31-yard line, it's 1st and 10 for Hawthorne. After a touchdown, a 90-yard drive, and then an interception with the return of a 50-yard return from Travion Pope. So let's see what Fuller has in mind for the Olympian defense as he wants to go deep down the middle, and that was a wounded duck. Was that Darnell Graham, the intended receiver?
We had a couple guys in the pattern. Let's watch on the replay again. Nice drop back, sets, nice release. Not quite as tight a spiral as you would like. You had a couple of guys in there. 11, 7, and 3, so you can take your choice.
Jaquan Johnson was also there. So we'll see now if it's 2nd down and 10 from the 31-yard line. So good to see a lot of people here for this Mayor's Cup. And somewhere, Harold Hoffman is in the building, but on the other side of the field. Fuller back to pass. Look out. Gets away from one would-be tackler on the sack, trying to get some positive yardage. Gets hit at about the line of scrimmage and then falls forward for some positive yardage.
Now we got a late flag on the play. That means it's going to be a personal foul.
And an Olympian is down on the ground after being hit head on, and that's big number 58, Latu Passetti.
Let's see who this is going to go against, because this is another one of those game-changing calls, boy. Personal foul against Olympian. So that's going to be an automatic first down. In addition to the 15 yards, it's going to
Here we go. Here's the replay. So look at that. There's Passetti there, almost with the sack.
But that big wrapped-up paw is the reason he couldn't get him.
And then there's a hit, and there we go.
There's
Hit
the
to
late
the head.
hit right there.
Number 52 on Leuzinger. That's not on our list. Oh, no, that's Robert Barbie. Excuse me. So that's going to be up to the 50-yard line.
So here's the point. Now, where's your quick strike offense? That's what we talked about. You got to have two scores. No matter how you slice it, two scores are needed. Two scores and 2 extra points. But you can get away by missing 1 extra point if you get a deuce on the second one. But right now, 1st and 10.
Fuller in trouble. Palooka, the opposite quarterback, coming in from this defensive end spot. And a huge loss on the play, Rufus, back to the 42-yard line. We're going to call that a 7-yard loss. So back to the 42-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down and long. So 2nd 17.
Got to get to the 41 of Leuzinger for the first down.
Split to the near side is Jaquan Johnson. Fuller under center.
That should go against Leuzinger, I think. I certainly saw Hawthorne jump, but that was after Leuzinger, unless my eyes deceive me, which wouldn't be the first time.
Mawala Wolfgram in, also Jamari White, and that's offside, and so Leuzinger feeling in the giving mood with a 14-point lead. And that's the 2nd penalty. That's 20 yards in penalties given up by the Olympians just in this drive. So that's up to the 47-yard line. And that makes it 2nd and 12. A long 12. Same formation. And now,
this time it's going to be it's late coming in, so this will be interesting. I thought it was Leuzinger at first, but I also saw the right side of the Lawndale line move. Oh, my goodness.
I was going to let that one go.
This Cardinal and goal. See, fan, here's what's happening. You got the Lawndale Cardinals, but then you got the Cardinal and goal of the Cougars. And I see Cardinal, the color, and I think Cardinal, the bird, because there are no Cardinal Cougars except here at Hawthorne.
Pass down the right side, and that's right in between 2 receivers by Fuller.
Well, I think his intended receiver was Flynn, whom he overthrew.
That's his favorite target, that's for sure. So now it'll be 3rd down and 17 from the 41-yard line.
Well, in this situation, you want to get as much out of that as you can. Obviously, you want the first. I don't think that the Leuzinger defense is going to give you 17 yards through the air. So it looks like you're going to need to pick up about 7 or 8 of them if you can, with a little swing pass, and go from there, and then make it 4th and as short as you can get it.
Double tight end set. Fuller back to pass, rolling. Look out. Gets rid of one defender, but not a second.
Okay.
And another sack put on Paul Fuller by Leuzinger. Palooka was there.
And that's what they call a coverage sack. His receivers all covered. He's looking to try to make something out of it. Of course, unfortunately, he's retreating and giving ground. And right now, wow, they're going to use a timeout. At this point in the game, 2:36 left.
And by my count, that's the third timeout.
The third and final, or just the third?
Well, this is the first final timeout. Is the PA
Right.
Is the PA sure?
I was asking us, you know.
We think it's the third timeout.
It doesn't matter as much to us as it does to Coach Swain, because if you're telling him the wrong thing, he's the one that's not going to be real happy.
So a loss on the play of 8 yards, Rufus. Regardless. So it is fourth down and a bunch. Going to call it about 25 yards. 4th and 25.
And clearly a play, win, lose, or draw. They're going to go for that. I mean, they could conceivably kick and think that they can force a turnover on the punt, and maybe they will. But my guess is they'll probably go for it.
With 2:36 left to go, it does appear that's what they're going to do. And now number 32 comes running on there, DeJon Gillespie. And now here comes Louis Aguirre, excuse me. So now they are going to punt.
Or at least they show punt.
Aguirre
All right.
puts his leg into it, and it bounces. Hawthorne bounce, and I think Mr. Thomas should have let it go a little further.
Well, you know, you read my mind. I'm like, okay, it's bounced in your favor. You don't stop it now. You just let it go.
So with 2:30 left to go in the fourth quarter, a 14-point lead for the Olympians. Excuse me. You're contagious.
I know. But right now, let's see what this Cougar, this cardinal-clad Cougar defense.
Well, see now, if you think of it as scarlet, not cardinal, it's completely different.
All right.
Not that I've seen
We'll
a red
scarlet
cougar,
and gold
except
then.
it was on the freeway. I've seen a red cougar,
Well, you know, on
and here in the field.
Max Prep, they give you the colors. Let's see what they call the colors.
Let's call Palooka's number. Palooka just missed Pope at the 20-yard line. That would have been a 60-yard hookup right there for a touchdown.
And if you're losing, you're getting a little bit greedy, don't you think? I mean, isn't clock management and just running out the clock?
Well, maybe Ronald
sufficient
Jenkins.
for you?
Maybe Ronald Jenkins wants to tack on another one.
Yeah, well, see, that's
They're 0-4.
That's how you intensify a rivalry. All right.
Well, it is the Mayor's Cup.
Looks
You
like
gotta make
Ron
sure.
Jenkins trying to get in good with Mayor Hoffman. You know, you want a few more, Mayor? Here, let me try it again.
Yep, now the ball is handed off this time. Looks like some fresh legs. That's number 24,
And he
David
picks up
Battle.
9. Battle picks up 9 on the play.
So there's a way to rub it in, too. Just bring out a pair of fresh legs.
Well, I don't think Kalola would consider that rubbing it in. I mean, rubbing it in would be leaving Kalola out there.
Well, Cololo
You know.
had, by my count, 18 carries and 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
So now, look out, battling his way through, down to the 30. And down to the 22-yard line, Rufus. David Battle.
Right. And you know, we were talking about it, but seriously speaking, the fact that Battle ripped off a nice big run, there's no harm in that. Battle is a kid. You're sitting over on the bench, and you're now getting a chance. Kalolo, you know, right now, obviously the replacement for Marcus Mitchell as the feature back, and he's getting an opportunity to run. And, you know, you're going to make the most of that opportunity. So you can't begrudge Battle for what he's doing and thinking that, oh, okay, well, gosh, they're rubbing it in. That's not rubbing it in. That's a kid saying, hey, Coach, I want to show you, thanks for the opportunity. Let me show you what I can do.
Ball is handed off again to another new back. And down to the 10-yard line go the Olympians. As that was Robert Barbie. Down to the 10-yard line.
Wow.
So a 12-yard gain for Barbie.
These guys make you start to think maybe the spread was more than 14 on this one.
Barbie again in the backfield, but I think that was a missed handoff as Paloka still has it. Now he's wrapped up.
There actually was a fumble on the play. If I saw it right, we'll see on the replay. It looks like the ball was loose.
I think somebody just missed. Oop, yeah,
there it was.
Right. Didn't get the ball from his center. And Robert Barbie is the center, so we have a new center in there. Is that number 66? Javier Rivas?
Yep.
Well, is that Rivas at center? Looks like number 66. So the ball is handed off to Barbie, who is usually the center. And that's back to the 15-yard line.
And
so this ball game
8 seconds
is
left.
Running down, and the Olympians are walking off, and they're going to take the Mayor's Cup back across town. As the horn sounds, this ball game is over. The Leuzinger Olympians grab back the Mayor's Cup 34-20 from the Hawthorne Cougars.
And there's Coach Mayor Hoffman down on the sideline with Eric Chavez. They're getting him in position, but while they're doing all that stuff, does give us an opportunity to talk about the fact that the Leuzinger Olympians come in here and win the 2012 Mayor's Cup at Hal Cap Field. The score will be deceptive, though, Lou. The score says it's 34-20. Got to give a lot of credit to Coach James Swain team. They played a lot better than the score indicates. You know, a lot of turnovers, a couple of opportunities. They had one bad break against them, what I thought was a bad break on a personal foul call that kept the Leuzinger drive alive, and it was dead in the water. They missed a couple of opportunities on a situation where they had fourth and about 3 or 4. Jose Cowboy Bravo leaving the building. He'll be bringing me back $20 in about 3 weeks, folks, okay?
It should be more
but
than that.
That's another story for another day. But at any rate, I wanted to talk about it. I really like right now how both of these schools are playing. For Leuzinger, here's what it means. The pre-league season is over. They ended at 1-4, but that one came tonight, which is positive momentum going into Bay League play. Hawthorne Cougars, they got a win a couple of weeks ago. They had a tough loss themselves against a very good Lawndale team at 13-12, and tonight's loss was a tough loss. So you're looking at a team that actually had 2 games that were winnable for them, that they actually could very easily be 3-2 instead of 1-4 themselves. So the Cougars look good. Leuzinger gets off the schneid. They're ready for Bay League play, and Hawthorne will be ready to go into Ocean League play.
That's right, Rufus. Thanks for reminding me. Leuzinger with the win. That's their first win of the season at 1-4. And Hawthorne falls to 1-4 as well. So I know who I'm going to pick as my player of the game. That's for sure.
You think?
The horse.
And I know who I'm picking as my tip of the hat player of the game.
Okay, yeah, because it was a good game. Like you say, on both sides, the score is not an indicator of how close this game was. But Leuzinger, just the fresher team down the stretch, a little bit more legs, and maybe a few more upperclassmen there, as you see a very happy James Soakai, number 61 there. There he is, right in your picture there. Yep, bring it on, he says.
One of those big
bring it
old
back.
linemen.
bring it back. This is his senior year. He goes riding off into the sunset with the Mayor's Cup. So good for James.
And since you've already announced your player of the game, your POG, the CityTV 3 POG for the 2012
I didn't
Mayor's
officially
Cup.
announce him.
Okay. Well, then we won't go there.
We don't want to do that right now, but maybe I should try to add up some numbers here. So while we wait for everything to get ready, why don't we take a timeout, and we'll come back with the trophy presentation of the Mayor's Cup on CityTV 3. Back here at Halcap Field, and we're awaiting the presentation of the Mayor's Cup, and there is Mayor Danny Juarez of Hawthorne. And look at Rashawn there. Looks like he got Gatorade slapped all over him there. Here it comes.
These
There's
guys
Ronald
don't know that that's a
Jenkins and
$1,000 suit that they just threw Gatorade on. You know?
Wait a minute. That $1,000 suit.
Right, Rashawn
What has he got?
rolls like that,
Does
man.
he have
Hey,
20
thanks a
of
lot,
them?
guys. I'm down here with Mayor Juarez from Hawthorne, Mayor Hoffman from Lawndale, and of course the Leuzinger High School football team. The streak for Hawthorne ends at 1. Mayor, take it away.
Okay, well, you know what? We had 2 excellent teams that came out to play. Each team gave their best, but today, this is Leuzinger's night, and in as much I don't want to give up this trophy, I got to do it. Look at the score. It speaks for itself. So, with that being said, at this time, I'll turn over the trophy to Mayor Hoffman of Lawndale.
It's Mayor Hoffman. Mayor Hoffman.
Let me say something to you. You guys did it. You represented Leuzinger well, very, very well. And you make it a thrilling part of the evening for me, because now we're taking it back from Hawthorne. And we had it for 9 years in a row, you know. And we're going to start, this is another beginning of another 9 years. And I would encourage you guys to do one thing. Respect your coaches. They are your teachers. They're not teaching you just football. They're teaching you to be citizens and great people for the United States of America. And I want to make this presentation to you guys with a lot of happiness, because I'm a Leuzinger graduate. 60 some years ago, though. So anyway, you guys, you deserve this. You earned it, and we want you to enjoy it.
Coach Jenkins. Coach Jenkins. Coach, this was a huge priority for you. How does it feel to be able to get this cup back and bring it back to Leuzinger?
I'm just so happy. I'm so happy for our kids, for our young men. They work hard. As you can see, we dressed out only 22 guys. Everybody's playing, all 3 teams, and they never ask for any shortcuts, never ask for any pity. They do what we asked them to do. They believed in what we were trying to do as a team, and I'm just so happy. I'm happy for them.
What was the important set on this game, winning this trophy when you took over?
Well, that's the tone setter for the area. You know, it's a big game for the area between us, Hawthorne and Lawndale. You know, bragging rights, and then, you know, it's for the future, you know, for kids coming into school. You know, kids want to go to a winner. So we can get a little edge, a little leg up here and there. That helps us. But more than anything, it's for community pride.
You talked about eliminating the mistakes in the second half. How would you assess the way you guys closed this game out tonight?
We closed it out like I wanted to, but we started the second half. Looked like we were trying to give it. They shook that off, and they did a great job.
How does this help you going forward?
It helps us tremendously, because they know that what we do, they believe in it, it works, and if we continue to do that, we can continue to win.
On a personal note, this is a win for you. How do you feel now as a Leuzinger head coach? You got a W under your belt.
I'm just happy for them. But for me, it's just business as usual. We're ready to work again on tomorrow. But I'm so happy for these guys.
Hey, thanks so much, Coach. Hey, let's bring in Travion Pope now. Trey. It's a lot going on down here, fellas. Here comes Travion. Trey, you talked about how important this was. Explain to the people at home just how important this was for you guys to get this trophy back.
Well, this is very important for us because, like, it's most of us right here, senior year, we haven't won a game in a while, so we have to just come home and win the game, just go hard, real hard. Like, I don't know, man. We just needed it right now.
How awkward did it feel not having a trophy at Leuzinger? How awkward was losing to Hawthorne last year? And was there an emptiness on campus?
It was very empty. Everybody was embarrassed, sad. Man, it just felt like no love was no more.
How do you feel like this win is going to help you guys going forward?
Well, we got to start. We're going to build on it right now. That's how we do it.
Hey, thanks so much, Trey. Appreciate it. That's Travion Pope. We're going to get some more interviews for you guys in a sec. I got to calm down. I got to dry off. I got a little bit of Coach Jenkins' Gatorade bath. We'll send it up to you for now.
Thank you very much, Rashawn and Rufus. What a ball game it was.
Great ball game indeed for Leuzinger in particular, but if you're a Hawthorne Cougar fan, you got reason to be hopeful.
That's right. Let's go back down to Rashawn.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I'm down here with Coach Swain. First off, Coach, thanks for stopping. Tough one. This one just kind of got away from you guys in the fourth quarter.
Yes, we controlled the game for the most part, and we were in a position, I think, to kind of seal the deal or take real control of it, and some things got away from us. A PI penalty helped them out of a corner, and I think an unfortunate penalty that wasn't a clip helped them out also, and so they capitalized on some things.
I'm sure there are plenty of teaching moments that you can take from this game film tonight. What are some things you're going to stress to these guys as you get ready to open up a league next week?
Well, last year this time they were 4-1 and didn't make the playoffs. Our goal right now for the seniors is go ahead and make the playoffs. Be a leader, lead us to the playoffs. We have to get 3 wins in the league, and that would erase all this. It was a tough game, good opponent. With some real good athletes, and we knew they were going to play hard. So we matched them. We stepped up. We just needed to finish them.
This game is so important to this community, to both schools, obviously, to play for that gorgeous trophy in the Mayor's Cup. How tough are your players taking it over there in the locker room right now?
Pretty tough. I told the seniors, let's make playoffs. But I told the juniors and sophomores, there were several of them who stepped up and replaced some seniors tonight. We're going to go get that cup back and keep it for 2 years. So that's how we ended that note about the Mayor's Cup.
And one other side note, one of your assistants, Coach Corey, is what they call him around here. He was like Superman. He changed from his security garb, and he was out there coaching on the sidelines in the second half. What does he bring to your staff?
He played for me here, and he played with Joe Etchemandu. He played at Callan for the Raiders and a couple other NFL teams. So he knows what Hawthorne football is about. He knows about this game, and the guys, they really rally around him, and he's, he can yell when I can't yell anymore, so that's good.
But thanks so much, Coach, for stopping. We appreciate it. That's Coach Swain. You know anything about Hawthorne High School football or just football in the South Bay in general, the history of it, Joe Etchemandu, what a terrific player he was here at Hawthorne, and, of course, that great career he had at Cal. Guys?
All right, thank you very much, Rashawn Haylock. Another terrific job as usual in the Mayor's Cup. 34-20, Leuzinger takes it back across the town with Mayor Harold Hoffman, and it's terrific to see Coach Swain back in the saddle here at Hawthorne.
Absolutely is, and I was interested to hear him talk about some of the past glory, as Rashawn mentioned, between Corey Thetford, who now is an assistant coach here, and Etchemandu, who we had the pleasure of covering during his high school career here. Those were the glory years, but hey, happy days can come again. And as he said, the goal is real simple. And I like his approach to it. He didn't say we were going to go 5-0 in the league. He said our goal is to win 3 games to earn a playoff bid and then go from there. And I think that's what you do. You set realistic expectations for yourself and your players.
And next week they start off the Ocean League with the Culver City at Culver City. So a big, important game right off the bat for Hawthorne.
Right off the bat for them, but they showed against this Leuzinger team that they can play pretty good ball with anybody, and I think they've got a few weapons that as the season goes along will get better and better. Flynn at one receiver is a good guy, and the guy over on the other side is a good receiver, so they've got some good stuff there. Maybe a little extra work in the backfield, but things look good for the Hawthorne Cougars.
And some of those young kids that Coach Swain was talking about stepped up as well. Deshaun Williams, one of those kids as well. So good luck to them in the Ocean League, and we'll be seeing them around the corner as well. But right now, it's time for our players of the game in this Mayor Cup, so we'll have two of them for you. And for the victorious Olympians, in my book, there's one guy that really stood out on both offense and defense, and that's Loa Kalolo, who was responsible for 89 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Well, no argument from me on that one. That's unanimous on Kalolo. My tip of the hat award. Here's the hat. Here's the tip. All right. My tip of the hat award goes to Paul Fuller, quarterback for the Hawthorne Cougars. Paul had 2 touchdowns tonight, picked up a couple of key first downs on the ground through running, and I thought it showed good general control of his team, and he sets them up. They have reason to be optimistic because they actually have a versatile quarterback now, a guy who can throw and run. So
right.
That's good. They're not one-dimensional, and Fuller showed that tonight.
And before the game, Coach Swain was saying that Paul Fuller, and you were saying that as well, hasn't thrown a whole lot until tonight, where I believe he put up 13 passes tonight and looked good.
And that was twice as many as he'd thrown the whole season. And again, did look good though, and did connect on a couple of them. And that's a dimension of their game. I think they have reason to be optimistic. So.
And then next week we're going to be at Lou House, and we're going to watch the Olympians take on Palos Verdes, and the improving Olympians. Now they get their first test, a big test in Bay League action.
I'll have to watch that one on YouTube. I'll be away on assignment, as we say.
Okay.
All
right. Well, for Rashawn Haylock and Rufus Washington and the terrific CityTV 3 crew, I'm Lou Stowers, telling you once again from Halcap Field the final score in the Mayor's Cup, the Olympians 34-20 over the Cougars. Until next week, so long.